Alright guys, another review, and let's talk about Invitation to Hell, which is a Wes Craven TV movie from 1984. And thank you to Amazon Prime for having this on there, because Amazon Prime, if you guys don't know, have a really great selection of horror movies. Very obscure ones that probably don't have even DVD releases for some of them, or VHS releases, or Blu-ray releases. There's probably some movies that Amazon Prime has that are horror related that are just on the platform, which I really appreciate because there are so many horror movies I want to see. Can't buy them all. I'm glad that they have them all on Amazon Prime, or have a good majority of these obscure ones that I really want to see. There's a lot. And definitely go check out Amazon Prime for horror movies if you're a horror movie fan. But Invitation to Hell, I just went on Amazon Prime one day and I'm like, oh, cool, this is a Wes Craven movie? I didn't even realize it was. And it came out in 1984, the same year Nightmare on Elm Street came out, which is pretty crazy. And I think that's why nobody knows really about this movie now, unless like you're a hardcore Wes Craven fan. And Wes Craven movies, I feel like I've seen maybe about half or more. I know I've seen all the big ones, but I don't know on top of my head, but I know I've seen a lot of them. And this one again, I knew nothing about because I didn't even know that Wes Craven directed this before I even like saw it on Amazon Prime. And the basic plot of this is that this family goes to this new town, and there's like a cult run by a woman named Jessica Jones, which is hilarious. I think that's pretty funny. She runs this cult where, like, to get big in this town, to get raises, to get higher up in businesses, you join this cult, and it's really weird. And it's one of those movies that, because of the budget restriction, is really, like, it's not terrible in terms of like how it looks, but with the score and with how it's made as a TV movie, this movie does not look that great. And even Dean Cundey did the cinematography for this, and it's really a shame because it's fine in some instances, but you could tell that it's just a strong budget limit on this movie. Like, they don't have much money to make this movie, and it's sad, but it's one of those movies that is very cheesy. Like, it is cheesy as hell. Like, I'm watching this like, wow, okay, there are a lot of moments where I'm just like, okay, this is really, really off. But I like that about this movie. And again, I say that a lot about cheesy horror movies. Like, sometimes they give charm, and this one had an okay charm to it. It wasn't like one that I'm going to go back to and rewatch, really, but I'm glad that I saw it. I didn't despise it or love it. I was kind of in between on this movie. Because of the budget restrictions, because the movie just seems so just adequate. It's an adequate movie. Like, it's right in the middle. There's not anything amazing about it, but it's not like bad either. It's just really run of the mill because of the budget. Like, I do like the idea, and it's been done in other horror movies, where like people move to a new town and there's a crazy cult, and like they start getting sucked into the cult, and it works totally fine. I think that it's serviceable enough, and I do like the performances, even though they are really goofy and silly.
Chrissy, you are now accepted into the inner circle, and by this symbolic entrance into our ancient spring, do forever forsake the mundane world and merge yourselves into the protective, exclusive shield of the club.
The woman who plays Jessica Jones is really over the top, and she's good. I do like her, and the family's fine. They're good, but it's just, again, it's restricted by its budget, and I liked it was a little bit fun. It wasn't like, it was fun in a way where I was like, I chuckled a couple times. I thought it was not very, like, it wasn't boring. It was interesting throughout. I won't really spoil the ending, but I want to go into the third act. So, with the title, you're going to know where you're probably going to go in this movie. And where they go at the end of this movie is really, it's interesting because I like the effects that they're doing, but the ending is just really odd. Like, they're doing all this weird stuff that, like, he just didn't, I don't know, like, it's a different interpretation of where they go, like, if that makes sense. I'm trying to be vague, even though you know with the title where they go in this movie, but it's like a weird like I don't know how to explain it without spoiling it. I don't want to really spoil it because I think that this is worth watching for the most part. I liked it all right. I thought it was enjoyable enough. But the third act's really weird and really cheesy. And again, the score is so soap opera score. Like, it is so incredibly, like, you're watching, like, a soap opera in the middle of the day type of score, which is ridiculous.
Kids?
All the kids are fine. How? Right this way.
And I remember whenever I was a kid and, like, I would walk into the room and my mom would be watching, like, a soap opera and I would hear, like, that score. And watching this movie reminded me of that kind of score in how it's very similar to a soap opera. And it's very melodramatic. And it didn't bother me, but it's just like, man, like, you could tell that they probably used a score from a soap opera, honestly, because it was just such a low budget for this movie, I'm assuming. It looked very low budget. And it's a shame because I do like this movie overall. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was fun, and I thought that overall, like, these characters were entertaining. The movie was entertaining. It's just really restricted on its budget, so it's not like a movie that I loved, but it's a movie that I liked and enjoyed, and I'm glad that I saw it. And it's not my least favorite Wes Craven movie I've seen. I think that still goes to Cursed. I think. From what I remember, I think Cursed is the Wes Craven movie I liked the least. And again, I haven't seen all of Wes Craven's movies, but I think that was the one I liked the least. But yeah, overall, this one was just run of the mill. Like, it's totally in between average with a lot of really low grade, like, filmmaking, but it still was entertaining in its own right, I thought personally. So yeah, pretty much that's all I could say about Invitation to Hell. It was pretty solid. Hey guys, if you like this video, consider checking out my other content. I review a majority of films that are pretty recent and also older films and mostly horror as well. Horror is my favorite genre, so I expect a lot of horror. And check out all my links down below. I have a link to Patreon. I have a link to Instagram, link to Twitter, link to my Facebook group, Horror Enthusiast 101, and to my own personal Facebook page, CDR Movie Reviews. And thank you for anybody who watched this video. Thanks for watching.